We're very aware that with the rise of the anti-gender movement and laws being proposed in various countries that would strengthen or make more harsh criminalization of LGBTIQ people and identities, that it is not becoming easier in many parts of the world, and in some parts is becoming harder for LGBTIQ people to hold pride events. In many countries in which outright works, there is a refrain from politicians and sometimes from the general public that LGBTIQ people don't exist. And so pride is a way for people to go out into the streets and show that they do exist and that they're proud of who they are. We're releasing a new report reporting on pride around the world. What we're doing with this report is trying to track the number of countries in which it's possible for activists to openly organize pride. Is it safe for activists to do so? And if it is, what do activists gain from pride? And what do ordinary LGBTIQ people gain from participating in pride? We look at pride as a form of movement building. We look at pride as a form of articulating political demands. We look at pride as a form of visibility. The report looks not only at the positive aspects of pride, it also looks at crackdowns on pride. And one of the worst offenders in 2022 was Turkey, in which there were a record number of arrests of participants in pride. And this was in various cities across the country where pride was targeted, people were arrested, detained, subjected to mistreatment in detention, in a really heavy-handed effort by the security forces to completely shut down pride. And unfortunately, the activists in Turkey told us that they were waiting to see whether the political environment in 2023 would open up more, make it possible to hold pride, and we don't know yet whether that's going to be the case. And so it's still the fact that when our communities go out into the streets to try to demonstrate that we exist and to demand our rights, that some governments are completely unwilling to tolerate this visibility and resort to serious human rights abuses to shut down our ability to express ourselves. One of the things that we try to do at Outright is not only advocate, but also celebrate the gains of LGBTIQ movements everywhere. And so part of our Pride report is very celebratory. It is beautiful to hear the stories of activists in countries like Namibia and Jamaica and Sri Lanka, where despite criminalization of same-sex conduct, people are going out into the streets and celebrating pride. So that's something that we hope by documenting that we can motivate the movement, that we can spread positive stories of what is possible and really amplify the voices of activists who are making really bold decisions in somewhat restrictive frameworks and are making their voices heard. We also want to ensure that there is a continued pressure on governments that do not allow freedom of assembly for LGBTIQ people. We want to help provide activists with tools to fight against this repression, both through legal analysis and through finding other ways to support their movements, to support their efforts to hold pride, and to keep pushing and pushing and pushing until people are able to march openly in the streets in all 194 countries in the world.